You have been an expert on building online business using social media for decades. How would you assess the potential for businesses like KOY to leverage themselves online as well as for the organizations working in the KOY network ecosystem?
If I was advising a business like I've owned before and it was located anywhere in Africa, I know that my business, for instance, I'm in the United States, and in the 90s, my business started doing business online. At first, we were able to put up a website and get some phone calls, and people reluctant to even give us their credit card information by phone. But we were able to do more and more business for the places we could go, and we learned that we had limitations. There are 50 states in the United States. Alaska and Hawaii are separate from the rest of the continent. We were able to do business there. If I'd have found a courier to be able to go to those locations, I would have been able to ship a lot better. Fast forward to today, what we're looking at is you guys to be able to ship between countries and transfer money between countries have so many obstacles that are there that we can just leapfrog everything that the rest of the world's been through and connect everybody up to what you'll recall as being called the information superhighway back in the 90s. It is infrastructure that is going to allow things to go instantly. And the thought of, instead of having to pay 10% on the money transaction or the paperwork or the having to go outside the continent and then back for money transfers is one that Richard has talked about. I just look at those things and I say, I can remember when I had to do handwritten forms to be able to ship something. And when we got it on computer, how that streamlined what we did. Our shipping went from being hours a day to minutes a day. And I've seen that transaction happen again and again. It's the same thing that happened when we got mobile. And it's what we talked about in the Twitter Revolution book, which interestingly is still relevant today other than the name, because what we were talking about is the future was going to be mobile, and it was going to be connections to the people you want to be connected to. Now, when I wrote Billions Rising and I was talking about this kind of stuff, we were always thinking in terms of how can the U.S. do business with Kenya, for instance. And we're thinking in terms of that. I had never really got a picture of how Kenya doing business with Uganda is much more important than whether or not you can do business with the U.S. We may have more money over here, but it's much easier to trade and transact, especially for a local business. And so I would say anybody should be getting hooked up to the network just to be able to take crypto in general. We've seen in El Salvador, they were using the U.S. dollar as their currency. They gave up on having any currency of their own and accepted the dollar and Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin is legal tender in El Salvador. It's not without its problems. Bitcoin is volatile, et cetera, et cetera. All that's fixed with the coin. Actually have to do a transaction in coin. I think the greatest thing of technology is where it reduces friction. It's not, oh, wow, we've got a new technology. That's not what's important. What's important is, can I do business faster, cheaper, and with more people? And all of those apply to what this project is. Again, that's why I get so excited about it.